Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of the DJ Roscoe Sports Show for this frigid, thirsty Thursday, March 21st, 2024, coming live from the palatial state of my black trolley while my son's at speech class. I figured I haven't done a sports show in a little bit. It's the start of March Madness, the madness of March. The NCAA tournament officially kicks off today. I know they had the playing games earlier in the week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but we're excited. It gets underway. I have my bracket here. I'll post it to the Facebook page, and I will rattle off my picks for the madness of March of who I'm thinking. Upsets, who's going to be cutting down the nets. Will UConn win their second straight national championship with head coach Dan Hurley and his juggernaut at the UConn Huskies? We'll see. But I just did the drive show with my buddy Dan Tortora, and I posted that as well, where we gave our basketball picks, but we're going to do it on the DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Also, very excited, opening day for everyone. It's just 7 days away, a week from today. Next Thursday, March 28th, is opening day for all 30 Major League Baseball teams, including my New York Yankees. They will take on the cheating, smashing garbage cans, banging garbage cans, Houston Astros, Thursday, March 28th. We're excited. Opening day for Major League Baseball, but we had two games that count for the start of regular season in Seoul, South Korea. Yesterday, for the game one of the season, the Dodgers came back scoring a big 3 spot in the in the 8th inning. Yes, because they were down, and then they were able to score. They had a big 8th inning to come back, scored 4 runs actually in the 8th inning, and they ended up winning 5-2, coming back to beat the Padres, their division NL West division rivals. But today, in a high-scoring shootout, they got close at times. Joe Musgrove started for the Padres. Yamamoto started, the Japanese sensation rookie for the Dodgers. Pitched very poorly, only pitched 1 inning, gave 5 runs, struggled, only faced 9 batters. And then it was a bullpen game. Former Yankee Michael King pitched in relief. The other day, Wandy Peralta pitched in relief. But the Padres ended up winning a high-scoring shootout, 15-11 to the Dodgers. So both teams get a win in Seoul, Korea. So they each are on the scoreboard having a win this season in the 2024 regular season. They will go back to the Cactus League, play a few kind of meaningless spring training games, and they will go back to opening day a week from today. But I'm excited for baseball. Shohei Ohtani had some big hits. Mookie Betts had a big home run. He played well. There's the crazy scandal. Who knows what's going to happen with Shohei Ohtani and the interpreter that... There's alleged rumors about gambling debts, and then he stole from him the interpreter. But then some people are trying to, make rumors. I don't know if it's true or not. Was Ohtani involved anyway, or was Ohtani just taken advantage of by the interpreter? Either way, seems like the Dodgers have fired his interpreter, and we'll find out more about this situation as it plays out. But it's great to see Ohtani in a Dodgers uniform. Yamamoto, it's going to be tough. He's not just going to dominate like he did in Japan. It's going to be much tougher in the big leagues. He did well in the World Baseball Classic last spring. Interested to see how he bounces back when he comes back to the States and pitches. But it was an exciting atmosphere. We watched a lot of KBO, Korean Baseball, Professional League, back during the pandemic 4 years ago when we were desperate starving for Major League Baseball on ESPN. So we were excited to wake up. It was nighttime there. I woke up every day, 6 a.m., watching Major League Baseball games that count. It was exciting to watch, but it was a high-scoring show today. Of course, 15-11, Padres with Dodgers. But Dodgers-Padres split the 2-game series. Excited and can't wait for opening day to kick off everywhere. So baseball is excited, and that's back. Basketball and hockey now, we're in the month of March, getting closer to the playoff hunt. So the trade deadlines are over, All-Star breaks are over. So that's going to be, before you know it, crunch time for the playoffs. So very excited about having basketball and hockey coming back. I think the Baby Penguins have a Star Wars night this Saturday, so check that out for the Baby Penguins, Mohegan Sun, Case Plaza, and Wilkes-Barre. So hockey, basketball, baseball being back, football, free agency madness. Kenny Pickett got traded to the Eagles, who we grew up loving. The Kenny Pickett Steeler experiment's over after just 2 years. Russell Wilson's Steelers quarterback. They also traded for Justin Fields of the Bears. The Bears are probably going to pick Caleb Williams number 1. And the Bears got a lot of big-time offensive weapons. The Eagles got Saquon Barkley, formerly of the Giants, who didn't want to pay him. And they showed him the money, and he's now going to be on the division rival Eagles, back in the home state of Pennsylvania after he played at Penn State for all those years. So a lot of wheeling and dealing. Kirk Cousins on the Atlanta Falcons. So many guys, quarterbacks, receivers, defensive players. Giants got the defensive pass rush. Jets got Tyron Smith, big-time offensive lineman. They got Mike Williams, big-time wide receiver target, go along with Garrett Wilson, and some good offensive line protection, protect Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles injury that he was out for pretty much the whole year. And Tyrod Taylor to be his backup quarterback in case something happens to Rodgers this year like last year. So a lot of wheeling, dealing, free agency football, the mayhem of free agency. So football, that's been crazy with all the offseason. The NFL draft's coming up in just a month, at the end of April. Basketball, hockey, baseball, as we kick off the season. And Blake Snell finally signed with the San Francisco Giants. So, hallelujah. He got a lot of opt-out years after year one. It's 2-year contract, $62 million, but an opt-out after year one. So a lot of Scott Boris's high-powered clients were waiting the last minute to sign, and some are still waiting to be signed. Jordan Montgomery, who I hope the Yankees can bring back in the fold, reports that they're talking to him. And Jordan Montgomery is still out there, and J.D. Martinez is still out there, a Scott Boras client. But a lot of the other guys have signed last minute, so they have signed, but they missed a lot of spring training and everything. But baseball, great to be back. Basketball, hockey, getting ready for a favorite time with playoffs coming up before you know it. And football with all the mayhem and madness of free agency and the NFL draft. And we'll be back really soon. And the UFL, the United Football League, XFL, USFL, combined forces in their merged league. And that starts off next Saturday, March 30th, in just 9 more days. So very excited to have spring football back. But let's get to it. The madness of March Madness basketball. I know the women's side, everyone's going to be excited to see Caitlin Clark. She's going to enter the WNBA draft, but she gets one more big opportunity for Purdue to see if for Iowa. She plays for to see if she can get her team back to the championship game and this time win it. Last year lost to Angel Reese at LSU with their big time rivalry. So we'll see what happens. But Caitlin Clark, an amazing talent. But on the men's side, the madness of March, it kicks off today. And as the great late Heath Ledger said in The Joker, this is the Dark Knight. And here we go. And by the way, congrats to Christopher Nolan with Best Director for Oppenheimer, Best Picture for Oppenheimer. Cillian Murphy, who's been Scarecrow in Batman movies, he was Best Actor as Oppenheimer. And Robert Downey Jr. wins his Best Actor Oscar, Best Support Actor Oscar, the former Iron Man, and all the personal trials and tribulations he had to overcome. And also great to see Ryan Gosling bring down the house singing "I'm Just Ken" for the Barbie movie. It was a terrific movie, a great live performance. And What Was I Made For? Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas won Best Song, just like they did a couple years ago for the James Bond movie. So let's go with college basketball, March Madness. We're going to start with our bracket right here. The East region, we're going to have UConn, who's, of course, the big-time favorite, coming back with the national championship last year with Dan Hurley, blowing out every opponent, winning by double digits every game last year. There's 6 games to win their national championship. UConn, number 1 seed, to take on 16 seed Stetson. I'm going to go with UConn to easily win that game. Very rare for a 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. UConn is a juggernaut. They're going to be unstoppable, too much firepower. They're going on to round of 32. The 8th versus 9 seed Florida Atlantic, dangerous team, makes runs in this tournament of late, and they're going to be hard to beat. But I'm going to go with Northwestern, more physical powerhouse in the Big Ten Conference. I think Northwestern will find a way to beat Florida Atlantic in a close game. UConn will take on Northwestern in the second round. UAB, a lot of 5 versus 12 seeds. A lot of 12 seeds beat 5 seeds. My only upset of 12 versus 5 seed this year is going to be UAB knocking off San Diego State, right for the picking for an upset, and UAB is going to go to the round of 32. And then the Auburn Tigers are going to knock off 13 seed Yale. I know my wife's a big Gilmore Girls fan, Lori, and of course Rory Gilmore, our daughter, go to Yale, the Yale Bulldogs. Great to see if the Ivy League makes a run, but it's very tough for them to, once they get to the tournament, after they win the Ivy League, to do anything against the big powerhouse conferences. Auburn will beat them and go to the second round. Then we'll have Duquesne coming out of Pittsburgh, the 11th seed, knocking off BYU in a nice upset. I think Duquesne played physical basketball, playing hot of late. They're going to get to the second round. And the Illinois, the Fighting Illini, the 3 seed, is going to knock off 14 seed Morehead State. They will move on to the second round, come in, played great with all that momentum going into the tournament after winning the Big Ten Championship tournament just last week. And then before we go, lastly, they're going to have Washington State knocking off 10 seed Drake. Of course, Drake, the great rapper, Drake's Coffee Cakes, and Hate the Drake from Seinfeld fame. But I'm going to go with, Drake could pull off the upset, small school there, but I'm going to go Washington State to win. And then Iowa State, the 2 seed, is going to knock off South Dakota State to go to the second round. And then in the to go to the Sweet 16, I'm going to go UConn to beat Northwestern. They will continue to be the juggernaut they are, go to the Sweet 16. Auburn will knock off UAB. Cinderella story. The glass slipper will shatter, will crack. Auburn will play UConn in the Sweet 16. Duquesne, their glass slipper, the clock will strike midnight on their great Cinderella run. Illinois, the Fighting Illini, is going to beat Duquesne to go to the Sweet 16. And then we're going to have Washington State, the Battle of State Schools. Washington State will knock off Iowa State to go to Sweet 16. Then to go to the Elite Eight, we'll have UConn knocking off Auburn fairly easily. They'll go to the Elite Eight once again. On their request for trying to be a repeat. It hasn't been a repeat national champion since Billy Donovan's Florida Gators in 2006, 2007. I was still in college a long time ago. So 17 years, just like that had been a repeat football repeat champion since 20 years ago with the Patriots and Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and then the Chiefs did that this year. They're going for the first 3 Super Bowl champions, so we're going to see if they can have a repeat champion in college basketball. Though it's very tough to do that with the transfer portal and the one and done players and all that. So that'd be interesting to see if that could happen. So as I said, UConn's going to beat Auburn to go to the Elite Eight. I'm going to go with Illinois to beat Washington State to go to the Elite Eight. And then I'll have UConn knocking off Illinois, who will give them everything they wanted more, a tough matchup. I'll have UConn knocking off Illinois. UConn will get to the Final Four once again. Then on the, let's see which are the South region bracket, the Houston Cougars, they're looking for redemption. Everyone kind of thought they were the team of destiny last year to win the championship, but they fell short. I think this year they know what to expect, and they're going to be looking for redemption. The redemption tour is going to start in round 1. They'll easily beat Longwood in the first round and go to the round of 32. Always an even matchup, 8 for 9 seed Nebraska Cornhuskers. They're knocking off the Texas A&M Aggies to go to the second round. Wisconsin coming out of the Big Ten. It's going to be a tough showdown, 5 versus 12 seed. I think James Madison is going to be tough for them, but I think in the end Wisconsin will prevail. The Big Ten playing physical basketball, they'll prevail and get to the second round. Duke Blue Devils, I know Coach K. Mike Krzyzewski's not the coach anymore, but they're playing well. They will knock off Vermont, but remember, Vermont has had success. They knocked off Syracuse Orange and Scranton favorite Jerry McNamara, their favorite son, in the tournament a couple of decades ago. So time flies by real fast. And of course, we have we love our Senator Bernie Sanders coming out of the great state of Vermont, and maple syrup and all that great stuff. But I think in the end, Duke will be too much for them to handle. Duke goes to the round of 32. NC State, who's been red hot, coming out of nowhere. It's a relevant story. Winning, I think 5 days in a row, had no bye week, no bye games, days off. They ended up beating North Carolina on a magical run to win the ACC tournament championship last week. NC State will find a way to win and continue their Cinderella run, build up momentum. The 11th seed will beat the 6th seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders. John Calipari and his Kentucky Wildcats have struggled at times in this tournament with a lot of the one-and-done players who are not really mature to lean on some of the veteran players with a lot of the guys leaving year after year. But Kentucky will easily beat Oakland to get to the second round. And then the Florida Gators, they will take on Colorado, Deion Sanders School for football. Colorado beat Boise State in the playing game. Florida will beat Colorado Buffaloes. To get to the round 32. And lastly, Marquette, who's always a dangerous team coming out of the Big East, always pulling off upsets and making big runs in this tournament. Marquette will knock off Western Kentucky to move on to the second round. For the Sweet 16, Houston will knock off Nebraska to get to the Sweet 16. Then we'll have Duke knocking off Wisconsin to get to the Final 16. NC State, their magical run, that will come to an end. Kentucky will beat them to get to the Sweet 16. And Marquette will knock off Florida to get to the Final 16. To get to the Elite Eight, Houston will continue the redemption tour. They'll knock off the Duke Blue Devils. They'll find a way to win that game in a close game. And then Marquette will knock off John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats. So the Final 8, in the Elite 8 matchup for a spot in the Final 4, Houston Cougars, they'll continue their redemption tour, and they will knock off Marquette, who's going on a magical run of their own. Houston will get to the Final 4, so UConn coming out of the East region and Houston coming out of the South region. So now we'll go to the other side of the bracket, left side, West region. As we move along here, North Carolina, the number 1 seed, who got tripped up in the ACC championship game to their rival NC State last week in the tournament. They will take on number 16. It's a local team, Wagner, coming out of Staten Island. A little school was able to beat Howard in their play game, and that's this afternoon, their first round matchup. I think at 2:45 on Thursday. A lot of games are going to be on CBS, True TV, TBS, TNT. So basketball all day long. My favorite days of the tournament are the first 2 days because all 64 teams are participate before anyone gets knocked out. And it's basketball from 12 p.m. on all the way past midnight for those West Coast games. So North Carolina, the number 1 seed, they will. Wagner's great story. They won their playing game, but North Carolina will easily beat Wagner. They'll get to the second round. Then the 8 versus 9 matchup, a lot of people say Michigan State shouldn't even get in. They're only in because of Tom Izzo's pedigree and all the great success he's had at Michigan State. We're making big-time tournament runs even when people don't expect it. They'll find a way to beat Mississippi State, even though Michigan State is not really the powerhouse and physical powerhouse they have been in years. But Michigan State will knock off Mississippi State to get round 2, so Tom Izzo gets a win. St. Mary's, the 5 seed, is going to knock off 12-seeded Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, it'd be great to see another 12-seed pull off the upset, but I only know Grand Canyon as a tourist destination, not really as a college basketball powerhouse. Then Alabama Crimson Tide, they're not just a football school, with Nick Saban now leaving, retiring, the Washington football head coach, go to the national championship games, now with Alabama's coach. They're a very solid basketball team, made a great run last year in the tournament. Alabama will win their game against College of Charleston. Then number 6 seed Clemson with Joe Girard from the Syracuse fame, who played for them the last few years. Clemson will find a way to beat 11 seed New Mexico to go to the second round. The Bears will beat 14 seed Colgate. They're not just a toothbrush company. They'll knock off Colgate from upstate New York. Baylor will win that. And then Dayton always goes on nice runs and plays great basketball. Is tough to beat in the tournament. Dayton's going to knock off Nevada, 7 versus 10 matchup. And then number 2 seed Arizona Wildcats, they will knock off Long Beach State, the 15 seed, which is a funny story because Long Beach State's coach was fired, let go before his conference tournament. They won the conference tournament. They're in March Madness tournament. I don't know if they'll reconsider bringing it back. So it's like George Costanza getting fired in Seinfeld or quitted, and then coming back the next day, pretend like nothing happened. Come back on Monday, quit on Friday, come back on Monday like nothing happened, which supposedly really happened to Larry David when he used to write for Saturday Night Live. But he's playing with house money. A guy got fired. It's a cool story, and he's coaching them into the tournament. But I think Arizona will easily beat Long Beach State to go to the second round. So then North Carolina will knock off Michigan State to go to Sweet 16. Too much firepower for the Tar Heels. Alabama Crimson Tide will knock off St. Mary's to go to Sweet 16. Baylor, the Bears, will beat Clemson Tigers to go to Sweet 16. And Arizona Wildcats will knock off Dayton to go to the Sweet 16. So go to the Elite 8. To go to the Elite 8, we're going to have North Carolina is going to knock off Alabama to go to the Elite 8, and then Baylor, are going to have a 3-seeded Baylor with a mini upset over Arizona. Baylor will go and knock off Arizona. And then in the Elite 8 for a spot in the Final Four, I'm going to go with another number 1 seed, North Carolina Tar Heels, over the Baylor Bears in a close, hard-fought game, high-scoring game. And so it'll be UConn from the East region, West region, North Carolina, and then in the South region, Houston in the Final Four. And then our last bracket, part of the bracket, on the bottom right, the Midwest region, started off in Detroit. We're going to have number 1 seed Purdue, who had one of the best players in the country last year. Best player in the country got knocked out by a 16 seed. So they're going to be on high alert. It's now only happened twice, and you got to, it used to be, David never could slay Goliath, the 16 seed over a 1 seed. It's happened a couple times. It just happened Purdue last year. So they have to be on alert for that. I think Purdue will be ready, but they got to watch out. In their playing game, they were able to knock off Montana State last night. Grambling, an HBCU school that I think it's never played in the tournament. They got a tournament win, playing with house money, playing great basketball last night, a thrilling victory over Montana State. They will be tough at times for Purdue, but I think in the end, they'll stay close for a while. Purdue will pull away, and Purdue will go to the round 32. Then in an 8 versus 9 matchup, I'm going to go with TCU to knock off Utah State. The Horned Frogs will go to the round of 32. Gonzaga, who always goes on deep runs, this year might not be one of their biggest powerhouse years. Mark Few is for 25 years, quarter of a century running, been taking Gonzaga deep into the tournament. Final Four is Elite 8s, just haven't won the whole thing. Gone to the national championship game before. Gonzaga, as a 5 seed, they will avoid the 12 seed upset. They'll knock off McNeese. And then Kansas Jayhawks with Bill Self, they've been struggling at times to end the year. They will knock off Samford, 4 versus 13 matchup in round number 1. So Kansas Jayhawks, they will go to the second round. The Oregon Ducks, quack, the 11 seed Oregon Ducks, they'll knock off South Carolina Gamecocks, 11 seed over a 6 seed. And then Creighton, always just like Marquette, a small school that in the Midwest that pulls off upsets in the tournament, goes deep. Creighton will survive. They will knock off Akron to go to the second round. And the Texas Longhorns, they will take on Colorado State, who beat Virginia in the playing game. Virginia, Tony Bennett, the late great singer, their head coach of Virginia is named Tony Bennett. They were the first team to get knocked out, a 16 seed over a 1 seed 6 years ago, a few days ago. It was the anniversary. They won the national championship game in 2019 before COVID, and then they've been getting knocked out early in the tournament ever since. But Colorado State won that playing game, but I think their glass slipper will shatter. Texas Longhorns, all right. Matthew McConaughey, big Texas fan, we'll see them win round 1 over Colorado State to go round 2. And the Tennessee Volunteers with Coach Pearl, they'll knock off St. Peter's to go to the second round. And then to go to the Sweet 16, I'll have Purdue over TCU easily to go to the Sweet 16. And then Gonzaga continues their magical run. Gonzaga will knock off... Gonzaga will knock off Kansas Jayhawks and Bill Self, so they'll go to the Sweet 16 again on another deep tournament run for March Madness. And then what do we have with Oregon Ducks? They're going to continue to quack. Ducks fly together with the Mighty Ducks fame. They're going to continue to go on a run. They're going to knock off Creighton to go to the Sweet 16. So the 11 seed is going to beat 6 seed South Carolina in round 1 and beat 3 seed Creighton in round 2. And then Texas Longhorns... McConaughey is going to cry because the Tennessee Volunteers are going to knock them off. Tennessee is going to beat Texas and go to the Sweet 16. And then in the Sweet 16 to go to the Elite 8, Gonzaga is going to knock off Purdue to have another run to try to get to the Final Four. Gonzaga knocks over Purdue to go to the Elite 8, and then Oregon's glass slipper shatters. Tennessee Volunteers beat Oregon to go to the Elite 8, and then Gonzaga versus Tennessee, drumroll, Gonzaga, Mark Few and company continue going on a run. The only number 1 seed that doesn't go to the Final Four because Purdue gets knocked out earlier in the tour. Gonzaga is going to continue their run. They're going to knock off Tennessee and go to the Sweet 16. So East region is going to be UConn in the Final Four, West region North Carolina, Marquette in the South region, and Gonzaga in the Midwest region. Then in the Final Four semifinals, we're going to have UConn, the powerhouse defending champion, Coach Hurley's UConn Huskies. They'll knock off North Carolina in a tough matchup. They'll pull away late and get to the championship game. And the Houston Cougars continue their redemption tour, and they knock off Mark Few and the Gonzaga. So Houston and UConn will go head-to-head for the national championship. Houston try to fulfill their destiny that was incomplete last year. UConn try to win the second straight national title, just like Florida Gators last time it happened in college basketball in 2006-2007. Dan Hurley, UConn Huskies, they're going to win their back-to-back national champions. 89-83 in a close game, 6-point win to win their second straight national championship game. UConn over the Houston Cougars, and they are the kings of college basketball once again and become a juggernaut in college basketball, just like they were for a while when Jim Calhoun was coaching them and Gino Auriemma, all his success on the women's side of college basketball. Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies continue to dominate college basketball. Kings of basketball for the second year in a row, cutting the nets down. They will beat Houston 89-83 to win their second straight national championship. Congrats to the UConn Huskies. So those are my picks. If you agree, disagree, love to hear it. DB down, be square. It's not Tortuga. It's that nature. Hasta vista, baby. Ha ha ha. Shit, it's for Cookie. That's good enough for me. Cookie starts with C. And let's stop with this cold weather. Brrr. No spring for you. It's no soup for you like in Seinfeld. It's cold. We need to start warming up like it will be next week. Wrap up the show. Congrats to my wife, her mom, Fran, and my beautiful daughter, Lorelai. They'll be doing the Beauty and the Beast play Kiss Theater this weekend. Can't wait to cheer them on. And I'll sing a song for all of my loved ones I love so much and for supporting each and every week on the DJ Roscoe Sports Show and Coach Luzerne Baseball. You make loving you easy. From Zach Brown Band. You make loving all I want to do. Every little smile and every single touch, like George Costanza, reminds me just how much it all makes loving you easy. I'll sing it, please don't. Easy. Keep it locked. DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Your home for all your favorite sports and entertainment talk right here. DJ Roscoe Sports Show. Have a great weekend and bye-bye. Enjoy the madness of March, everyone. See you guys.